Ladies and gents, welcome back to the latest episode. As you guys remember from our previous one, we had our shed taken out. We had a little baby guy in the corner. That's all gone now. We replaced a lot of fence boards. We did some stuff to the front of the house. You'll see some stucco work. So instead of just talking about it, let's show it to you. Let's go. Okay, y'all, we are now on the front of the house and we went with a periwinkle purple. What do you guys think? Some people might feel a little kind of funny about the color, but something that I really noticed about this street is that it really goes with the rest of the neighborhood. So what I try to do when I'm trying to find colors that are gonna be right with the house, I also want something that's gonna match the neighborhood because I want things to be looked at cohesively. And I want the houses that I do to also feel cohesive with the entire street, not just my own individual little piece of jewelry. So with that being said, we got the outside painted purple. I do really like the color a lot. Something we're gonna be doing, if you guys can see from down here, we actually got our metal screen in. If you guys remember from like the last episode that we did, when they're doing all the stucco work, we decided to put in this metal screen so that we have a bunch of critters crawling underneath the house. Now what we did, we actually ran it all the way around and then we installed this little white, really simple PVC style fencing that's just gonna make it a little bit more decorative so you're not just looking at the underside of a home. It looks kind of strange. So what we're gonna do now is continue it from here all the way around. It's gonna go from this side of the house and then bend around the corner. It's also gonna go right here as well. It's just gonna make it look a little bit neater. Another thing that we did too, as you guys can see, we put like a little 2x6 framing around the window just to give it a little bit more of like a decorative feel. Just because sometimes I think when you have a really flat front and there's no dimension to it, it just looks a little plain, a little boring. So this is just something that adds to that. Another thing it does as well, if you guys look, we actually stuccoed the bottom side edge and we stuccoed the top side. And what that's gonna do is now when you have water run hit the top of the window, as opposed to it sitting on the top of that shelf, you're just gonna roll right off, just a little bit better of a detail so you don't have water penetration going in behind the wood itself. Now, if you guys can look around here, we're gonna back up. On this side of the house, we did the very same thing. We did another little stucco detail. You can't really see it now just because it's painted white, but basically what it is it's a 2x6 framing. On top of the 2x6 framing, you have another piece of stucco that goes on the top side. And that's just, again, another little detail to help mitigate against some of that water. In addition to that, we have a lot of the deck completed as well. We have the handrail in because for the longest, this was something that was gonna be a little bit bothersome. We have a number of people that stop in, stop out of the house, and I wanna make sure that at least we can keep it safe so that you don't have any unexpected tripping and hazardous, because you know what? We live in a very litigious society and the last thing you wanna do is be liable because somebody decides to fall or they had too much to drink and then it becomes a problem. So one less thing to worry about with something like this being done. All right, next thing we did, we actually ended up installing a digital lock. Now, the reason why I always do a digital lock, especially when it comes to rental properties, is because the last thing you want to do is have to worry about somebody forgetting their keys because they go to the bar, they left late, and they're just calling you at 2 a.m. because now they can't get inside the house. Instead, I always make sure I get a digital lock, especially one that's connected to Wi-Fi. The great part about that is that all you have to do now is literally just get a message from them and just go deet, 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 and then the door will unlock and you don't have to drive your ass all the way over here just to unlock it for them. Really great decision. Another thing as well, we went with a really simple modern light for the exterior. I always go with something like this and I put a nice big bright bulb to go with it because another thing you want is for people to feel safe, especially when they're walking towards the front door, especially for the ladies. You always want to make sure you do something that makes the space not only feel bright and happy, but also contributes to the overall safety of somebody's perception of what happens when they're getting in late at night. So another really big importance I want to focus on over there. Let's swing guys around the side here and show you some of those too. Now, something you guys are gonna see on this part of the house, well, we have the old fence, which, sorry, not fence, but screen. We're gonna end up throwing that out. But what we're gonna do on the bottom here, very much like on the other side of the house, we're gonna be putting in our metal screen along the bottom. Last thing we want, a bunch of critters crawling up underneath the house there. And then we're gonna be reinstalling our little decorative trellis detail that goes around it as well. Now, as far as security goes, we also have to redo this guy. You guys can see our fence is completely fallen over. I mean, look at this, Jesus. Like it's literally just being propped up right now. So something we're gonna have to do, get all that stuff taken care of and make sure we get that replaced because right now it's just not safe at all and it's just not very good as far as animals, people, anybody else who wants to get through. Essentially all they gotta do is just kick it down. So in the next couple weeks here, we're gonna be replacing that so that we get a nice cohesive look with the outside. Finishing out the bottom here, getting our screen in, done. Okay, so as far as the front of the house is concerned, in addition to the detail that I was showing you guys before, we have this window that's a little bit lopsided here. Now, what ends up happening is sometimes the springs that actually go in for your window, they get a little bit off kilter. So you're gonna get somebody to come back in, and then you're just gonna have them repair those edges for you. Luckily, I got a great window guy. He repairs my springs, he repairs my sliding doors, he does all that. So he'll come in, he'll fix those springs, and we'll get this door opening, closing pretty nicely. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna tape off all this glass. We're gonna spray all this metal white. You might be wondering, like, what are you gonna do that for? Or why would you bother doing that? You guys will see this window will look amazing once that thing is completed. Next, we're gonna do on the front side here, I've been going back and forth forever, but I do think some plants of some kind are gonna help elevate the look of the exterior. So we've got our metal in, we're gonna get our trellis in next. After that's done, we're getting our plants in, do a little bit of irrigation that's already there. We just need to rerun our lines or reconnect them, get the water going so that this can really beautify, and then figure out a solution for the front dirt right here. Originally, all this was just gonna be some rocks. I don't know if I'll still do rocks. It just depends on price, depends on a couple other factors as well. But another option too is to keep it as is, just do some sod, or essentially rip up, get it graded, and then do some sod after. Still going back and forth, a lot of decisions to be made, but I do think in the end, it's all gonna look good. Okay, we're now looking at some of the siding that you guys can see has been updated. You guys saw it painted in the last one, but I do think something to point out is you just can't fix everything. And if you look at the bottom row here, we left it exposed. But look at that bottom row of siding. See how it's like kind of beat up here, and it's beat up there, and it's beat up down there. And then all here, it looks actually pretty good, right? But for whatever reason, we just couldn't quite get it cleaned up nice enough. And that's just because one, we didn't have any boards that we could replace it with, because I checked at the big box stores, they didn't have it. I checked at some local lumber yards, they didn't have it. So I basically had to just cut the bottom row as clean as I could. I should have done that with the second row, but at that point it was already installed and painted. Whatever, it's done. One day all this stuff's gonna be ripped down anyway, so I just have to learn to live with it as is. With that being said, I also got the rest of it cleaned up pretty nicely. We got all the paint scraped up off the windows. There's still a little bit of residue from the inside and stuff, which we'll get it cleaned up as well. What we're gonna do next, we're gonna run some caulking along the edges here just to clean that up, make it look a little bit nicer. But I do think overall it does look pretty good. We got our trellis in on the bottom. We're gonna continue that guy all around the corner. Let me show you what that looks like over here. Same thing, got all the paint down. So this is essentially what the look is gonna be, right? We have our metal screen, again, protect against all kinds of bugs and critters. Not bugs, but squirrels, any kind of rodent, essentially. Then carry this guy all the way around here, and then it's gonna go around on that backside as well that leads you into the backyard. So we're gonna take you guys over there and show you what that looks like. Oh, actually, before you even do that, same thing over here as well. So we actually dug up, this was a concrete path that we found literally underneath all the dirt. But what we're doing, essentially, we're on this side, some more plants because we want to make this look as beautiful as possible. And then we're gonna simplify all back here, maybe a really simple driveway, could be a rock path, number of options. I'm really just trying to see which one is gonna be the most cost efficient, but there's still gonna be a couple other determining factors that go into it. But you'll know a little bit more in the next episode once we have more things taken care of. Okay, we got our fence post repaired. Now I'll show you guys a couple clips that I got of the guys as they were working on it, because this stuff was falling over, it was looking kind of shoddy. Got them to repair the post on the backside, then put up all the new boards as well as pressure wash everything. I think it really cleaned up pretty nicely, all things considered. I mean, it looks pretty decent. We also had the corner over here, we had a big fire pit, if you guys remember from previous episodes. We got that cleaned up. We did a lot of raking. We moved all those pavers that were left over to this spot here, and what we're gonna do now, we're essentially just gonna square everything off with our existing pavers, right? Maybe something like this. First, we're gonna paint everything white. After we paint everything white, then we're gonna install our Clusia along the edge and then install some mulch right after that. I think it's gonna give it a nice, clean, minimalist aesthetic that's gonna look really good. Now, as far as the backside of this goes, if you guys remember, the previous person had a fence that was just falling over completely. Part of this is because on the neighbor's side, they had a lot of junk over there and it was just causing the fence to fall forward. Plus you had wood rot, a number of issues. Well, we corrected it. We put up some new posts on the ends. We installed a lot of new fence boards to just kind of square this off, cleaned up everything, and now you have a nice, neat backyard. Once everything is done, man, this is gonna look like night and day. Okay, y'all, we are now at the back deck. Now, if you guys can remember from some previous episodes, it looked really bad back here, but thankfully I had my guys come out. They ripped up all the old stuff. They reframed a lot of the base that was underneath here. They got all of it done after they finished doing all the framing. They added some, what do you call it? Some ties, essentially some hurricane ties to the bottom of it just to help add some of the stability. Then we got our posts installed. We ran our new deck boards down, and then we finished it off with a nice rail on the exterior. What I love about it, one, you can actually walk on it, because before it was completely rotted out and it was just really hard to walk on, especially with all the loose boards. The last thing I want to make sure I told my guys to do, over on the end here, see how these boards are a little loose? That's actually intentional. That's because we had a water heater that was in this corner, if you guys remember. We ripped the water heater down, we ripped down the little hood, shelf, roof, that was attachment that was there, got that down too. And then we had all of our leftover lines where the hot and cold came down. Well, all of that is now under the house. So I'm actually gonna have these guys picked up, run a new hot and cold line up to the interior so we can install a tankless water heater. And again, when you go tankless as opposed to a tank, you have a continuous flow of hot water as soon as the hot water gets hot, which I love. And whenever you have a house that is as small as this, you always wanna make sure you maximize every square inch of the house possible. So by eliminating that, you maximize your space for the outdoor deck, and you also increase the efficiency of as far as hot water being delivered to you when you're on the inside. Great decision all around. So I'll take you guys through the inside, show you what's happening over there, but a couple more things going on for the back here. We're gonna get all this stuff cleaned up, finish out our rail, put some fence caps on the ends just so that we can get this looking really finished, and we're gonna have a really nice outdoor backspace. Okay, y'all, we are now inside the living room. A lot of changes being done. First, we're gonna start out right here in our little alcove. What I love about it is a space that we use dedicated specifically for someone having lunch or having dinner. Because I always think no matter how big a space is, you need a place for people to sit down and have dinner. Some place for some people to sit down and eat. So what I love about this, you literally just pull these stools out, ba-dow, and somebody can sit down. So it's super efficient. I also like it because if you got little kids or doing some homework, or if you want to take a Zoom call, you got a nice window light coming in front of you, and you still have a place to mount your computer, plug all your stuff on the bottom, same thing on that side. So we're just really efficient as far as that concerned. How this stuff is exactly going to lay out, I'm not quite sure, but again, I think the really important factor here is that you start putting things down in your spaces so you can get some semblance of what you think the space is going to turn out. So by doing this, it allows myself, and I think it would allow you guys, to just get an idea, a feel of how you want the room to look. And once you start doing that, now the rest of the pieces start coming into place. You start putting some flowers in, put a couple plants in, you're like, okay, maybe I could try this piece of art on the wall, right? You're more open and willing to try things because now you have a little bit more direction as opposed to just having a blank canvas like, what do I draw on this, right? Versus when you just have a couple things already started for you, it makes it a little bit easier to come to a conclusion. Over on this side of the living room, we have our sofa that we actually used in another house just recently. What I like about this is it actually increases the amount of the seating in the entire living room, but it also still keeps it cozy by making it small enough to where anybody can walk in. It's not gonna get in your way. It's actually conducive to like walking room. Got our plants on the ends, a little mirror. We're gonna swap up, we're gonna change out a lot of the things that are in here currently, but again, as far as the feel of base goes, this is just the right look before we get to the final. Okay guys, so we are now inside the main bedroom of the house, and with this one, you guys are gonna see sometimes when you're putting a lot of furniture everywhere, you end up with like more bed frames than you need, and you're like, what do I do with it? So a lot of this stuff at times just gets laid in the room until you're ready to either get rid of it or sell it off or move it to another house. Thankfully, we had this bed frame and mattress over at another place that we had for rent. That place is now no longer up for rent, and we're actually gonna be selling it on the market. So thankfully, we were able to just move it over here. Next thing we did, we finally have our closet doors in. Now, for the longest, I was trying to figure out what can I do with these because they actually didn't fit the correct opening for standard closet doors. Right, these are like 75 inches, which is really strange dimension. Thankfully, my guys are really good and they're solid woods. We're able to chop them down on the ends, install our rail, and now we have a full closet set that somebody can use to hang and hide all of their stuff inside the closet. So we got a couple more spaces. Let's show you guys what they look like. Okay, big update in the kitchen. Everything's sprayed. We got all of our brass knobs and details in. Love how it turned out. We actually used this peel and stick tile. I mentioned it in a video on my Saturdays. I want to show you guys exactly what that looks like once it gets installed. Now, it is super renter friendly. So if you're out there and you're looking to rent, or you're looking to have rentals, or you're looking to just get something that makes your backsplash look a little bit nicer, really easy to do. You literally cut it, slap that bad boy on the wall, good to go. In case it gets messed up, guess what? You just cut out some new pieces. Look at this. Peel it off. Ta-da! You just put it right back on. Love it, love it, love it. Turned out really nice. I think it goes well with all the details. We also got our brass faucet in. Again, it matches all that really nicely. Another thing we did, we stained our shelves this nice dark black color. We're actually gonna put one more coat on it just to make it look really, really strong, like make the stain more impactful. This is not paint, it actually is a stain that went over the top of it, and I loved it because that absorbs it so nicely. Once we're wrapped up with that, we have our kitchen upper cabinets, and what's great, if you guys see, it has a really great contrast and connection between the lower cabinets as well. So once that's up on the wall, we're gonna get all of it cleaned up, and I really think we're gonna have something that looks pretty nice. As far as appliances goes, we got our stove in, paid $275, steel. Got our microwave in, $200, steel. Brand new dishwasher as well. You can even see all the plastic still on it that needs to be ripped off. Another really great price. I think in total I paid $250 for it. Again, you guys do not have to break your bank when it comes to all these appliances and everything you put inside the kitchen. In total, this kitchen is less than $3,000, right? We got like $750. Cabinets, the stone is $1,000. Yeah, literally less than 3,000 bucks. Not too bad for an entire kitchen renovation. Okay kids, let's wrap things up inside the bathroom here. What I love about it, we have our vanity that's been installed. Love it, simple cane finish. The cane finish goes great because once you match it with the wallpaper that you guys can see here, again, a lot of the color and details, but it really kind of accentuates the bathroom and without having to spend a lot of money. Again, I'm really gonna harp on that just so you guys don't think that every time you do renovation, you gotta spend a lot. You really don't. This is the existing cabinetry that was here. Sprayed it black, got one of my brass handles put on it. Look at that. It's like a brand new cabinet all over again. Don't have to spend a lot. Last thing we did, as you guys can tell, you guys saw from a previous episode, all of our showers have been sprayed. Last thing we did, we added our shower head, put in our diverter and our tub spout. Look at this. This entire bathroom we're looking at, I think I spent 1,200 bucks. Can you believe that? As far as a brand new bathroom renovation, as well as the kitchen, this is gonna be where you spend the most money. And if you could do all of it for less than $5,000, you are getting out way ahead. Okay kids, that wraps up this week's episode. We got another update coming for you, which is probably gonna be the final. You're gonna see everything finally done, all the last furnitures and fittings, everything complete. I'm super excited because I think this is gonna be one of those rentals that I really was able to stay on budget for and also make sure it still turned out really beautiful in the end. So what's gonna be the real telling sign is how much somebody is willing to pay for it as a rental. Ideally, fingers crossed, I'm able to get $3,200 a month. If I get that number, I'm gonna cash flow probably about $700 or $800 a month, which is really, really great. Plus, I'm also gonna get a nice fat check for about 100 grand. So stay tuned to see exactly how it turns out in the end. So until next time, catch the next video.